Hello! Welcome to the stream, everyone. I do not mean to open... What did I even open? I do not know. I clicked the wrong button, but welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? I hope you're well. Why is the game not launching? Alright, there we are. I'm figuring out chat. I'm a professional streamer, I swear. I know what I'm doing. Ish. What a start. I mean, is that anything unusual by now? Like, this is me we're talking about. We gotta have a bit of scuff. That's kind of just part of the experience. Wait, did we finish the call last time? We did finish the call. I'm such a moron. I should probably change the stream title. Well, that's awkward. I really couldn't remember if we had finished or not. I was like, I spent like 5 minutes trying to decide if we had finished or not, but we had. So it's time for farewell. You even celebrated the end of the call, right? I remember that. I'm such a moron, chat. Okay. It's time we do farewell. Or the second half of it. Event Horizon. I'm really excited for the second half of farewell. Because, like, I have no idea what to expect. Like, really? It might have been a good idea to... Now I think about it, I don't remember the mechanics of Farewell very well, because it's been so long since I did the first half, but it'll be fine, chat. We'll figure things out. How hard could it be, you know? Surely it's not that hard a level. Chat. Is that an internet cafe? Why is there an internet cafe here? Oh my god, chat. They're explaining a new mechanic via a PowerPoint. I love this so much, chat. They're literally just doing a PowerPoint. Oh my god, this is the best way to explain a mechanic ever. Oh my god, the screen transitions. Can't catch that bird? I cannot. Birds are hard to catch. Whoa, it's fat. Oh my god, I am dying so hard. She's the worst. What the fuck? Oh my god, the screen transitions. This is the best thing ever, chat. Wave dashing. It's easy in quotations marks. Jump. Alright. Chat, this is the best thing in any video game ever. They're literally just putting a PowerPoint in here. I don't know why I love this so much, but like, holy fuck, that's brilliant. Alright. Go you. This seems complicated. Happy wave dashing. Okay, chat. Let's see if we can figure it out. I can, chat. It's not okay. That's a cool mechanic. Has this always been a thing? I have a feeling this has always been a thing. Why can I go this way? What is up here? There's a... okay. Oh! Chat, I was... Alright, so chat. The game allows you to go to the right instead if you want more practice wave dashing. That makes sense. That is kind of nice. So you don't have to die to get more practice. But who needs practice? We are fine, chat. What could possibly go wrong? Oh god, the screen is glitching again. Wait, can I wave dash in that? It looks like I can. Wait, no. Wait. Alright, so let's follow the Madeline. Yeah, so we're meant to. Okay. I kind of like this level. It just shows you what to do. It's kind of funny. Oh, I know what to do. I meant to do the mechanic from the Summit B-side. I don't know if you remember it, chat, but the one where if you dash next to a wall, you can get a boost if you jump off of the wall like straight away. If you do, but it's kind of a precise jump, but you can get a boost that way. So there's two mechanics here that we need to play with. There's that we learned earlier, and then there's wave dashing, which is kind of neat tricks. I can imagine these kinds of tricks are used a lot in speedrunning. Probably. I am so bad at this game, chat. This is insane. So, okay. This is not as hard as I make it look, chat. I guess I don't actually make it look that hard. I just make myself look stupid. She says after having finished B-sides. I mean, that's a fair point, but like, I'm dying on the simplest jump. I feel like the reason why I have made it this far is not because of being good at the game. It's more because of just sheer determination. I feel like I just don't give up, and then eventually I just made it. But I guess you have a point. I am probably better at the game than I give myself credit for. This is hard. Okay, so we need to do 2 wave dashes in a row. The wave dashing mechanic is kind of like hard to get used to. It's really neat. It's a really cool mechanic. But like, it's really hard to get used to because we need to do it twice. So we bum. That's. I keep doing that. Okay. I did it once again, which is not good enough. We need to do it twice. Alright, I can't remember if it said something about if you fail. I can't. If you start too far from the ground, it would do something where, and if you start too low to the ground, it'll do something else. So either depending on if you don't get a boost or if you don't get a refill, it'll do something different. But I can't remember which one is which. The thumbnail says Hyperdash. The thumbnail says Hyperdash. What thumbnail? I'm confused. Wave dash? Oh, you're talking about the screen in the background. Yeah, I do know that I need to do a wave dash here. I'm just bad at it. I mean, I could tell where you were. Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. I do understand how the wave dash works. I'm just really bad at it. But yeah, I just learned how to wave dash, which is neat. I need to get a bit more used to it. That's not what you meant? I'm so confused then. I'm sorry. They meant the stream thumbnail. Oh. Does the stream thumbnail say wave dash? That's amazing. I love that. Yes, that it. Okay, I'm not very smart. Yeah. I still love that they gave you a PowerPoint in how to wave dash. And the fact that it shows up as the thumbnail of the stream is genius. This is why you start playing the game. Why so, Starlight? Did it get a bit too much? Or did you just get tired of the game? God, wave dashing is hard. Didn't rage quit? Okay, fair enough. I mean, I get it. Just get too busy. Yeah, I get that. So sometimes you just don't want to play a game anymore or don't have time to, and then you just forget about it. I do that a lot. Honestly, the only reason I started finishing games lately is because I'm playing on stream. So I have something like to actively make me remember to finish games. And I haven't had the energy to come back. Yeah, I can understand that. Welcome to the stream, Alex. But yeah. You want to someday, but wave dashing is really hard. It is really hard. I really need to get used to it. But especially like the this one wave dash is fine. I've gotten pretty good at doing one wave dash, but doing like a sequence wave dashing, that's bad. Damn it. Okay, maybe one wave dash is still hard, but like the tricks alone are not too bad. It's once you like chain tricks, then it gets really hard. Cause like this screen, I have to do 3 kind of difficult tricks in a row. I can kind of get away with taking a break on the middle bit, but yeah, I still need to do the wall bounce up there. Oh, by the way, Starlight, you left before it happened, but after you left during last stream, I did catch a... What's it called? I catch a Pokemon. It's kind of like a chinchilla. I forgot what it's called. Wait, why can't I remember that Pokemon's name? It's not something which... I want to say something with Chew at the end? Hello, you need to change the stream game? Oh my god. I am not playing Pokemon Black, chat. Whoops. Well, Pokemon Black and White too. You saw nothing, chat? I'm definitely not playing Black and White too. But yeah, does anyone remember what that Pokemon I catched last stream was called? On today's episode of Camus and Moran. That's fair. The little... what is it called? I think Chinchino is its evolution? I'm so bad at Pokemon names, yeah. I mean, I guess I'm bad at names in general. You saw effing. You saw nothing, Yui. You have no evidence. Except for the VOD, but we can edit that. Wait, no, the VOD doesn't show which game I'm playing. Woo! Well, that was effective. Damn it. Alright. Bounce, bounce. Alright, let me just watch the background a bit. Okay, so roughly here. Never mind. Quilava? It's not a Quilava. I'm gonna look it up because I really can't remember what it's called. Is it Chinchilla Pokemon? Chinchilla Pokemon. You wanted to be sure you could make it to your last stream? This is not my last stream, Yuri. I'm streaming tomorrow. Minchino, that is his name. I am so bad at names. But yeah, I caught a Minchino and named it Starlight. That was what I was trying to say before I like completely got distracted by not remembering what it's called. But yeah, I caught a Minchino named Starlight, so that was what I wanted to tell you. But yeah, my plan is I'm gonna do one stream tomorrow, which is just a one-off game where I think it's called A Little to the Left. It's like a one-off puzzle game, and then I'm leaving for my vacation on Tuesday. So normally I don't stream on Mondays, but I'm doing it this week just to make up for me not streaming all of next week. I wanted one more stream that next week, so we're streaming Monday. Being sick makes you forget what day it even is. That's fair, Yuri. I mean, I can barely remember what day it is normally. To be honest, the only reason I have some semblance of what day it is because of streams. Will you get back on Tuesday? I'm leaving Tuesday. I'll get back on Sunday. And I won't be streaming that Monday because I normally don't stream Mondays. So I'll be streaming next time. Right, so my last stream is Monday the 15th, and the next stream will be Tuesday the 23rd, most likely. But yeah, I'm only away from Tuesday to Sunday, so it's a pretty short trip. You might be able to make it. Alright, I'll look forward to seeing you. Otherwise, I'll be streaming like pretty much all of that week. It's just next week I can't stream. Like, I'm gonna keep up the usual 5 streams a week for a while, I think, is the plan. I kind of like the whole 5 streams a week. I feel like it's pretty nice. It's not too much. It's just the right amount. That's the day you head home, so you can. So if you can stop crying, you'll join. Oof. You'll get to see Alex again soon enough, I'm sure. But yeah, even if you can't make it to the Tuesday stream, there'll be another stream on that Wednesday, so it's fine. Oh my god. Alright chat, we'll be here for a while until I figure out how to do 2 wave dashes in a row. In at least 5 months. Oof, that sounds like a pain. At least you can still like hang out online. But have you enjoyed your trip to Texas? Oh, for sure? I'm glad. That's good to hear, Yui. I'm really getting annoyed by these wave dashes. Okay. Bam. No. It's nice to be with Alex. I can imagine. It does sound like a lot of fun. Alright. Even if it's still Texas. I mean, that is true. It is Texas. It could be better. There's a mass shooting not too far away. Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? Jesus Christ, what is wrong with the US? That does sound scary though. I hope you're okay. Well, presumably you are okay, because else you wouldn't have described it like that. I feel like saying, oh, there was a mass shooting not too far away would be a bit weird if you were the one that got shot. If they weren't okay, they wouldn't be here, to be honest. I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, you could probably still make it to the stream from a hospital. But like, I feel like you would describe it as I got shot, rather than there was a shooting. But hey, big Texas man increased the age to buy an assault rifle by 3 years. Ooh, well that is an improvement technically. Nice. I almost did it. This is hard. You need to do it just like this is a pretty precise trick, and I keep messing it up because I'm bad at this. Now they have to be older. I mean, fair. I mean, killing people is still illegal. I'm just gonna point that out. At least I would hope so. I don't think there's a country in the world where killing people is not illegal. It's a good first step. Yeah, it is slightly better. Not always. Is there any country in the world where killing people is not illegal? I would really doubt that. Killing people is illegal in the US. If you do it right, that's not a thing. I have heard of the like that potentially some vague loopholes, but no, that's not a thing. Self-defense, I suppose, but like the rules for self-defense are complicated. I mean, again, rules for self-defense are complicated. We also have rules for self-defense. Like if you get attacked and you accidentally kill the attacker, you can probably justify it. Not that complicated in the US. I mean, fair. In Denmark, we have the general rule that, as a general rule of thumb, you're not allowed to use more force than the attacker. So if someone comes if someone comes at you with a knife and you shoot them, then you're in big trouble. Cause like you can't reasonably suggest like that. I feel like it makes sense that you can't use more force than that you're being attacked with self-defense. Of course, there are like there are some like iffy circumstances. Like, of course, if you're reacting in a state of shock, then the law is more lenient, which you usually are in self-defense. But EU rules on that are way harder. I mean, that's how EU rules are in general. Better than here, that's fair. Oddly enough, one of the few instances where EU rules are not harsher than the US is medicine, which I've always been super confused by. The rules for like getting medicine approved is way harsher in the US. So like generally speaking, if something gets approved in the US, it will also be approved in the EU. So they only really care about like getting it good enough to approve in the US. And I've really just always been so confused. Why, like, of all things, why safety of medicine? Hey, you guys don't even know how to make a proper road sign. Who knows? Yeah. It's complicated. Hey! Welcome to the stream, Aria. How are you doing today? Oh my god, this is hard. Maybe because we have unchecked capitalism. It might also be like, well, it's not unchecked capitalism because it's the government that sets rules for medicine, like how like that. I'm pretty sure that would be the FDA or something. Yeah. Oh my god. No. No, chat. Good thing this isn't a no politics channel. I mean, I do try to keep politics to a minimum, to be fair, but I tend to be rather lenient on like what we talk about, because it's not like I can stop anything, so the US be like, buy free healthcare? I mean, fair. That might be why, honestly, the laws for restricting medicine is harsher in the US. Maybe it's just because of the fact that medicine is more expensive. They also want higher quality. I don't know. It's probably a long history of complicated rulings that has caused the situation. It's usually how it goes. US people get more heated about politics than average. That's what we consider far left is your center. I mean, that's fair. I think you just want higher quality to justify higher prices. Yeah, it might be. I mean, that is actually, honestly, I'm not even sure you're right about that. Because, like, I have looked about some of the policies of the Democrats. Well, I guess, like, Democrats aren't far left. So, like, people like Bernie. Bernie is pretty center. He might even be slightly right-leaning if you compare him to Danish politicians. As an American, you can guarantee that you give little to no fucks about politics because you're not high enough to ever care. Fair. Care about people's rights? I mean, caring about people's rights is probably not a bad stance to have. But most politics are meh. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm at too. Like, I do find it interesting to study like political history. That I find really interesting, and like political science is really interesting to me, and ideologies, or like the study of ideologies and such, is really interesting. But like politics as a whole is I vote, and that's I don't engage much more than I vote. Human rights should be common sense. Treat others like respect. Treat others with respect and don't be a jerk. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, that is just like that is kinda just how it is, yeah. Like, I don't think respect is a human right. Like, the human rights are like things like food and such. Like, you can't torture people, etc., etc. But I don't know. I do a general, like, my general stance is you should treat people with as much respect as they treat you. Maybe even a little bit more. Because, like, if you treat people with slightly more respect than they treat you, then hopefully they'll also treat you with slightly more respect, and then it becomes like, I'm a big believer in my philosophy of I think I'm gonna describe it like as like a cycle of happiness. If I make someone else slightly happier, and then they make someone else slightly happier because they are in a better mood, and one good action can spiral out to this complex, gigantic result. Like, it's kind of like a butterfly effect, but it is specifically positive. To balance that mentality of respect people at least as much as they respect you is something extremely European. That is a good point, actually. All human people are human. Well, most. I mean, that's fair. I don't think I qualify as human, but that's a different matter. But yeah, in Denmark we have this concept called janteloven, which is specifically very, very, very Scandinavian, but also applies to a lot of Europe. Janteloven, or the law of Jante, means, so like roughly paraphrase, it's pretty long, but the law of Jante, very condensed, means that you're not better than anyone else. So like you shouldn't think of yourself higher. It doesn't matter if you're like a CEO of $1 million company. You are worth just as much as the guy who works at a McDonald's. So therefore you should respect the guy that works at McDonald's just as much. And basically don't think highly of yourself, because you are just as much as a person as everyone else. That's a thing in all of Europe. Yeah, it's a very European thing, but it's specifically like the concept of the law of Yanda is specifically Scandinavian, but I believe the like mentality is very European as well, even if it's specifically referring to Scandinavia. If you treat people with kindness, not only is it moral, but it might change their heart. That's true. But yeah, I generally like aspire a lot to the law of Yanda, but like the law of Yanda is also considered like, if you break the law of Yanda, that meaning if you think of yourself as being more important than someone else and you are therefore acting like a dick, then you will kind of be seen like as a cultural outcast. Like people in Scandinavia and Europe in general look very poorly at people that think of themselves as more important than other people. That is like the number one way to be extremely looked down upon in Europe, is by thinking of yourself as more important. Most religions preach due to what others you would want to happen to you, or something similar. It's kind of funny that people don't follow their own religions to shit on other labs in the US. Yeah, that is true. That's a weird point. But you make a lot more money than him. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. That's not how that works. You're still a person, and all people are inherently equally valuable. EU Karens are way softer and tends to act completely different than US Karens. Yeah, that's true. We also have we also have anti-vax movements and stuff like that in Europe. They're just like way smaller and less intense. Unironically, the reason you're no longer evangelical, I still don't understand that. Like, the one thing... Okay, I studied religion, like, a bit during middle school, because that was a thing. That was a class I had to take. And I remember, like, there was the huge emphasis in Christianity on the concept of, like, the golden rule, right? Treat others as you would like to be treated. And I'm so confused. Why do evangelicals... Like, it shouldn't matter if you're like... Isn't that what Jesus said? Something, turn the other cheek. Or whatever, right? Why do they treat non-religious people so badly? When the entire religion is so focused on treating other people with kindness? Alex, you need to adjust your name? Yeah, it's very confusing. I'm trying to call you Alex, but I feel like some of the... Like, whenever new people come in and I say Alex, I'm not sure they understand who I mean. We don't have things like people treating service industry employees as garbage here. I mean, we do, but not to the same extent. It's way better to be a service employee in Europe than it is in the US. But, like, my uncle is kind of a Karen. It's nothing as bad as a US Karen, but he is still a Karen. And I have seen him treat some service industry staff kind of shit, and I feel so sorry for them. I hate my uncle so much for that. Sinners don't count. That's not how that works, Yuri. Like, the entire point is, even if they hit you, you should just turn the other cheek instead of hitting them back. The things with American evangelicals is they have a warped definition of love. I see. Never seen people act like that in my life. I've only seen it once, and that's only my uncle. The closest thing to a Karen I've ever seen is an uncle. Is my uncle. And it's really awkward. So, a story about my uncle. So, I remember, like, this was during COVID. We were just starting to open up things again. But it was still, like, heavy COVID protocols. So, we were in an amusement park with my uncle. And, like obviously, the amusement park was more regulated. They had things like, instead of the normal queue system, they used a digital queue. So, you had a queue on your phone, and then you went up to the ride once it was your turn. They implemented a bunch of things to, like, make it better for COVID. But yeah, it was doing all of that. And I've like he had been really unlucky, and because the rides had to be cleaned like constantly, like every half an hour the rides got shut down to be cleaned. So he hadn't gotten many rides or whatever. And at one point, one of the roller coasters, like right before closing times, when we were in the queue for a roller coaster, when the ride suddenly got shut down, and we were told that the roller coaster there was a problem, and it had to be repaired, so they couldn't run the roller coaster. So they had to we had to leave the queue because the roller coaster broke down. And I remember he like started yelling at the like roller coaster workers, and I'm just like, what the fuck are they meant to do? Like it broke down. Do you want to ride on a broken roller coaster? I think there was one of the ride cars that had gotten stuck on the roller coaster or something like that. And I'm just like, what the fuck do you want from them? And I just had to like, I felt so terrible. I just had to leave and pretend I didn't know him. I really, really wanted to speak up for the service employees, but I was so scared of him. As someone who used to live with a Karen for about 7 to 8 years, you can say that American Karens are literally so awful. I've heard a lot of stories about American Karens. Terrible. Love to an angelical, I think, is telling people exactly what you perceive is wrong with them, in the hopes that it changes something that's usually not malleable, like our intention on gender identity or faith tradition. That sounds like a horrible definition of love. You never saw anyone like that act like that? I've only ever met my uncle. He's the most Karen person I met in my entire life. So yeah. To be fair, I really don't like my uncle that much. I tolerate him because he's technically family, and I know my dad really likes him, but I really don't like him. My cousins on that side though are really nice, but my uncle is just the worst. But hey, I never really fit in with that part of the family, to be fair, so that is what it is. Because you refuse to believe that all evangelicals are truthful? I mean, probably not. The most Karen people you ever saw are people silently getting annoyed in queues at cashiers in stores. Yeah, that's kind of the level I normally see. Most of the time. Like, it's only when I'm out, it's only my uncle that I ever hear about that's like full on Karen. I mean, there might be more Karens that just haven't met, but like the amount of Karens is so much lower that it's rarer to meet them, and they tend to be much less bad. So like even if you meet someone that's slightly Karen-esque, you just kind of forget about them, because they're just like, even my uncle are like nowhere near the levels of entitlement that I've seen in like subreddits like Fuck You Karen or entitled people or whatever. Like even my uncle's nowhere near that level. I've seen so many like awful Reddit stories of Karens, and I'm just like, how are these people real? Like, how do they not see how wrong the thing they're doing is? Do they just not think that other people are people? Do they just not even consider what they would do in their shoes? That's like the one thing I don't understand about Karens. Like, I've always been taught the whole, like, you should treat people with kindness, because, like, how would you like to be treated like that, you know? But, like I can't understand. The only way I can see acting like that much of a Karen is if you don't think of other people as people, but you think of them like animals or whatever. That's the only way I can justify that kind of behavior. Difference is you have functional empathy. The funny thing is I'm autistic. I'm meant to have a bad empathy or whatever. We treat animals better than they treat humans. That's a good point. You can't feel empathy? I have a lot of empathy, to be fair. I think I have too much empathy. and that's actually causing me issues. I feel like most autistic people I've known, I would describe as not as having no empathy, but having almost too much empathy. Like they care so much about not hurting other people's feelings that they end up just be like annoying people, or like actively harm themselves in the order to satisfy other people. And I'm like, why is it that we say autists don't have empathy? Because like, and then you have me. Yeah, you're kind of a special case here. Having it and being able to express it in the same way and not the same. Yeah, that's true. I guess that's what it's about. That autists are just different about empathy. Might struggle a bit more with it, or express it in a slightly different way. Also, I would really like to beat this screen soon. You're still on it? I'm still on it, Starlight. I'm trying so hard. It's not about empathy? It's not? Or maybe I'm thinking of Raymond's, because that's a different type of autist, and like some people when they say autist, they refer to Raymond. Like autism is kind of a confusing term, because there's such a big difference between Raymond and the Asperger. Obviously I have Asperger. We just ingrain in the children's brain that respect is the base of all human interaction. I mean, I suppose that makes sense. I do remember getting like a massive focus when I grew up in like treating other people with respect and kindness. Empathy is a spectrum rather than a binary. Yeah, that's true, that's true. I can see that. Honestly, I'm not even sure I would call it a spectrum. I think it's more complicated than that. Spectrum implies one axis, so... Respect toward others is such a massive thing. Yeah, for sure. What's the discussion about empathy? We're talking about my confusion about Karens, I think was what we were talking about. I think that your culture is more about respect. It's probably like that. And again, that's the whole like law of Yanda thing. Yeah, we're talking about US Karens. Yeah, so us Europeans, we don't really understand how US Karens are a thing. Honestly, a lot of the time I have to remind myself that all the stories I hear about the US are real. And they're not just like some myth someone made up. Because it sometimes really does feel like a myth. Because that's how you grew up too, but not everyone does? Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Oh my god. I hate this. It's hard to accept that these stories are real. Yeah, honestly, no offense to the Americans, but I really sometimes, like, honestly quite often feel like your country is a fictional dystopia. No offense, but like, it's just so hard for my brain to handle. I have a similar like relationship with like China and such. My brain can't really grasp the concept of like the things I hear about it, because I haven't experienced it myself, so it doesn't feel real. I feel like it's like that with a lot of different cultures, to be honest. I really struggle with grasping that cultures I haven't experienced are a real thing. But like, it's just the US the most pronounced, because I hear so many stories from the US. Why am I so bad at this? Okay, chat. I would really like to beat this level by now. The US just doesn't feel real. I know, right, Ear? It's hard to imagine what you don't know. Yeah, exactly. like for example, like the American Karens, right? How are they real? Oh, okay, because autistic people are often considered not empathetic or having a bad theory of mind, but this is more due to the fact that the ways of thinking are so different. Autistic people often display standard levels of empathy towards other neurodivergent people. I see. Yeah, I was always kind of confused by the autistic people don't experience empathy thing, because like, again, I feel like I and most autists I know experience almost too much empathy, and this is kind of confusing to me. But it's probably just like the result of experiencing things differently and struggling with understanding others. I think there's also the concept of empathy kind of has two meanings. There's both the meaning of being able to put yourself into other people's shoes. That is one definition of empathy, and it is something that autists normally struggle a lot with. But there's also the other definition that I'm using of like treating other people with kindness and like being empathetic. I just tried to define a word by using that word. That's the worst happened. Yeah, and like half the reason you wasn't diagnosed as a child was because you showed too much empathy. Yeah, it's probably just like a misconception. Is that there's no empathy, is the difficulty presenting it in standard ways. Makes sense, makes sense. Kindness and understanding. Yeah. Oh my god. I'm so bad at these tricks, chat. I have to do so many tricks. And it's just so hard. Okay. Kindness is unrelated to empathy, I suppose. Understanding can see. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I'm unable to understand how other people think, but like, I do tend to I don't know if I can say experience other people's pain. I think might be a description of what I'm trying to say, but it's kind of not really. But like the whole, like if I make someone else upset, then I get really upset too, because I don't want to hurt people. But I don't think that's not quite it. I don't know, I'm bad at describing things. Don't worry about it, chat. Alright, okay. That is empathy, in a way? Yeah, I think so. But at the same time, I can't understand how other people think. So it's kind of weird and complicated. I think it would be easier if I chain it, but chaining is just hard. Empathy isn't understanding how others think. Makes sense. Right. Humans are weird, chat. I think that's the conclusion of this. Humans are weird. There's a difference between lacking empathy and lacking theory of mind, understanding how others think. Often they're interconnected. Ah, I see, that makes sense. But not always, right. It's being able to understand their emotions and expressions. Yeah, that I'm bad at, I feel like. I'm bad. You never saw understanding how others thinks as empathy? I mean, I'm very confused what empathy exactly means, so that's just what it is, but hey. But yeah, I think that's called, I think Starlight is right, that is called theory of minds. And that I'm very bad at. Which I feel like is pretty normal for autisms. It's not for us. Being able to understand that others have emotions. Okay, my brain is kind of confused. I'm bad at psychology, okay? Psychology was my only, like on my exam paper, psychology was my only 4. It was my lowest grade. so I don't claim to be good at it. Amelia also didn't care at all in psychology class, but still. It's hard for you to explain. I mean, it's a complicated topic, so there's no need to. Fear of mind is understanding that others are separate from oneself. Well, I do understand that. I guess, maybe, to an extent. I don't know. This is complicated, yeah. My brain can't keep up. Let's just beat this stupid level. Because I'm starting to get kind of annoyed. I think I've been here for half an hour, and this is like the 3rd screen of the level. Oh my god. Like, it's even showing me exactly what I need to do, and I still can't do it. Because I'm just... I think I need to land right on the edge there. Theory of mind is the branch of cognitive science that investigates how we ascribe mental states to other persons and how we use states to explain and predict the actions of those other persons. I see. What I remember is that people don't know what you know, I guess. I don't know, chat. I hate this. And Cam realizing she has no fear of mind? Shut up. But isn't fear of mind also like a development point in children? Ask me again in a few years and you know exactly how to explain it. Sorry, psychology is kind of a special interest. That's no problem, Starlight. Around 3 years old? Yeah, but like, I honestly, I think the definitions being kind of like overlapping in a sense is what's confusing me, that the words can mean different things potentially, or like it's unclear exactly what it means, maybe? Why must things have the same name? Exactly. That's also what's confusing me, Yuri. Right, I'm just gonna... I don't understand. To me, empathy is mostly feeling something when you make others feel something. I do that a lot. If I hurt someone else, then I get really sad. To an actual, like, harmful degree, I think it's a significant problem that I experience that too much. Developmental psychology is very neurotypically focused. I mean, that's fair. Less two distinct things and more one thing that just kind of builds on itself. I see. But yeah, from like Eart's description of empathy, then that's something I experience too much, I think. Because like, I do honestly think that the amount of pain I get from making others suffer is harmful. I mean, psychology is an interesting topic. I can completely understand being interested in it. I'm not very good at it, but it is interesting. My description, I don't have any. I see. Yeah, so in that way we are very different here. But I get like autism can can be shown in very different ways. So I guess, but like I feel like most, like this is one of the few points where I'm a bit confused about you specifically here, because like most autists I met have the same as me, where they experience too much empathy to a harmful degree, and you're kind of the only autist I met that doesn't have that problem, but like has the opposite problem. Well, specifically Asperger autists. I know Raymond autists like a completely different topic. But yeah, I think you're the only Asperger autist that I met that hasn't had that problem and has the opposite problem. I'm not sure that's because of a different thing, or it's just because autism can be a lot of things. Empathy is, as best you can describe it, feeling similar emotions as the person who you are experiencing empathy with in response to their expression of emotions. Yeah, I kind of do that a lot, to the extent where I do a lot of communications over text, and especially with Eard. And if Eard forgets to put in an emote, I get like mental distress, because that usually indicates, what's it called? That's usually an indication of, I've noticed a pattern that lack of emotes equal bad mood. So like when there's less emotes, then I get mental distress because I think Eard is in a bad mood. So yeah. Could be Eard doesn't have it. It displays differently, or we really don't know how to define it. I mean, it could also just be that autism is vague. Asperger's isn't really a common term nowadays. I think the like actual term is high functioning autist, I want to say. I can't remember exactly, but the diagnosis I have doesn't say Asperger, if I remember right. I remember my psychiatrist saying it's not actually called Asperger anymore, but it's the same thing. I just use Asperger because that's what everyone else I know uses, so that's a thing that people understand. Oh my god. Reading into patterns too much is a huge mood. Yeah. Asperger autists tends to use Asperger. It's an easier way to communicate. Like Asperger is very clear. And I never really liked the term high functioning autist. Cause like, it feels a bit weird. Like it feels like it puts too much focus on whether you functioning, right? Like high functioning autist implies that you are autistic, but you are still able to function as a normal person, or like function well enough. And it feels iffy. Because that also like implies as the counterpart that Raymond are not like functional people. And like obviously I have a lot of issues, I just don't like that. It feels very iffy. I like Asperger and Raymond more, because that's more, it's very clear what you're talking about. No one around you uses it, to be honest. Whole long story why it went out of fashion. I mean, I guess that's also a cultural thing, maybe. You don't like high functioning either. Yeah, it just feels so iffy. And especially because like things like Asperger autism is like with Asperger's it can be expressed in so many different ways. I don't like high functioning kind of narrows it down, because you can't really like just say that an Asperger is functional necessarily. It's very complicated, and each Asperger has experienced symptoms differently. You prefer the term support needs, high, low, or medium support needs. I don't like that either, because that I feel like that can conflict. Like it's, I don't feel like it makes it clear that you're talking about autism. I honestly, I prefer. I don't understand why they don't use it anymore. That's probably a good reason. I just prefer the terms Asperger and Raymond, because that to me is more clear. But that's probably a reason why they don't use it in the medical world anymore. But hey, I'm not a doctor. I can use whatever terms I want. No one can stop me. Mwahaha. Because Asperger was the name given before it was known to be autism, I believe. Well, I mean, like the way I see it, Asperger is a subtype of autism and Raymond is a different subtype of autism, and it's kind of like a spectrum between Asperger and Raymond. I may be wrong, of course, but that's how I see it. That they're both autism, but they're like different subtypes on a spectrum. I suppose like high and low support needs or functioning makes it clear that it is a spectrum. But yeah, in the past Raymond was known as autism alone, and Asperger was its own thing. Oh, I see. I guess that makes sense. You never heard of the term Raymond? I hear it less, but that's because I don't know anyone personally with Raymond. But I believe Raymond is the equivalent of Asperger. I consider it a spectrum between the two. I do too. I just consider the ends to be Asperger and Raymond, and like, if you're closer to one, you can use one of the same. So if you're closer to the other, you can use the other one. But like, as far as I understand it, Raymond is the equivalent term. I may be wrong, but that's always how I heard it. I don't know who it's named after. It's probably named after some psychologist. Like, you appear to be high functioning, but you got quite high support needs as well. Well, still, I kind of like the distinction between Asperger and Raymond more, because I think it is a useful distinction. Because I'm like, I am nothing like how you would typically depict someone with Raymond. I have met one person with Raymond, and like, the struggles they had was like completely different from the struggles I have. I mainly have, like, the way I usually hear it described, right? So if you imagine the things that you're good at as like dots, so like you have X dots in a mathematical intelligence, you have X dots in a social intelligence, and so forth and so forth. I've heard it described that Asperger is taking some of the dots of like the socials intelligence and like some of those and putting them over to other intelligences, while Raymond is just taking all of the dots and putting into one thing, or like almost all of the dots. That's how I usually hear it described. That's how I in the past have heard it described. I can't remember who told me that, but that's, yeah. Like, people consider you Asperger, but in reality that reduces the view of the support you need. I mean, again, Asperger is a very broad term. And like, how much support you need is very different, but like, I do think the term Asperger is useful. Obviously, like, some people, it's kind of like other disabilities. Even if you have the same disability, doesn't mean you need the same amount of support. Is the way I see it. But yeah, it's a complicated topic. Also, I would really like to finish the screen already. I'm getting kind of annoyed. It's the stupid wall bounce at the end. I'm so bad at the stupid wall bounce. I've gotten it a few times, but every time I failed reaching the actual wall. like it up there. Like the background makes it look so effortless. You can just see how it just like poof. It just does it. It looks so effortless. I kind of hate the like tutorial, the background, because it makes me feel so bad. Because it's like actively showing me what I meant to do. I feel like such a moron for not being able to do it. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. I mean, I am notoriously a self-proclaimed idiot, but still, this is just stupid. Oh well, we can do it. I just need to concentrate a bit. It'll be fine, chat. Probably. Alright. Calm down. I expect massive cheers when I finish this. You don't think that's a very accurate description? So once you find it a bit reductionist, it is so complicated that you struggle with the vast majority of things and very struggle to function on a day-to-day basis. But at the same time, you are fully variable and do well at university marks-wise. So appear to be high function despite not being well at all. So you're quite sensitive about that stuff? No, I get that. So I guess I can see that. The way I just view it is I do view it like the whole like Asperger's Raymond thing a bit of like high function, low function, or whatever. I view that as a bit of a spectrum. But like I don't think I would say just because this is also part of why I don't like the term high functioning very much, because it doesn't really express that much. Like high functioning implies that you don't need much support, which isn't true for all autists, and like the struggles every autist experience is very different from everyone else, because the actual symptoms of autism is so broad. But yeah. But I can kind of see what you mean, I suppose. But yeah, there's no... what am I trying to say? I'm bad at wording myself, chat. Because you spent your entire life being told you have Asperger and ignoring your issues, people saying you're smart enough to just get over them, it's never helped and always struggle with everything. You consider dropping out of uni because you just can't cope energy-wise. Let's move on to this. Alright, so I'll just quickly say, the people that tell you that you can just ignore your issues and get over it, or like, are complete morons. Because I do like saying I have the Asperger. I do like that term. But I can't just get over my issues. That's not how that works. I do acknowledge in other areas I do need help. And in a lot of areas I am not very functional. This is also why I don't like high functional. Because as you say, I think that's also like very culture dependent, like how much we acknowledge that the need for supporting people. Whoops, that was not the button I meant to click. Yay! We don't acknowledge people's need for support. Let's be happy about it. No. Sorry about that. But yeah. I completely get you. It's fine. You don't have to apologize. And there's nothing wrong with having issues because of mental disorders. Or even without mental disorders, honestly. But yeah. I have noticed in my country at least that like respect of Asperger and autism and other diagnoses is improved a lot. There's no adequate way of describing autism. Yeah, again, yeah, the symptoms are so broad. There's no term to describe your current position on the autism spectrum that is accurate and won't insult the part of the spectrum. Exactly. It's super broad. And it's really, really hard. And also, like, some people, like, I, for example, have a lot of issues with things like eating and such, while I know other people don't have issues with that. I don't tend to have much issues with talking to strangers, but I have issues with all kinds of other things. It's like, it's really, like, it doesn't really feel like one thing, which is why I think it's so hard to narrow down, because it is really broad. But yeah, I don't know what to say, chat. I do hope we get better as a society at helping people that need help and not shaming them for needing help, because I think it's fair. Anyway, I'm sorry for being so bad at, like, thinking of how to word myself. I hope I'm not trying to, like, ruffle any feathers. At least here we treat autism very well. Yeah, I've also noticed that in my country it's gotten a lot better. And I was offered a lot of support because growing up, well, not necessarily growing up because I discovered quite late in life, but like during my high school, for example, I had the potential to get a lot of support. I didn't have to get it, but if I needed it, there was a lot of support I could get. But yeah. I know it's not like that in every country, and there's a lot of people that think because you're high functioning or whatever, which is why I don't like them. So you have high support needs with energy taking issues, you have moderate issues socializing, high issues making friends, high sensory needs, have low academic support needs content wise, but workload wise you need high support. Yeah, again, like the issues that people struggle with are very, very, very different. Hence why I don't think you can say, this is why, like, people get on well with you at first, but no one ever becomes close. That's a shame. You seem like a good person though. But yeah, making friends can be really hard. I'm sorry to hear that, Starlight. I'm bad at thinking of things to say, chat. It's like, this is a really complicated issue to talk about, and I'm just... You see in the way low-functioning autists are treated in specialized centers, and to be honest, they're living very well. That's good to hear. I don't know much about low-functioning autism, because I don't know that many people. Like, most people I know have high-functioning autism. To be honest, basically all of my friends have some form of high-functioning autism, or Asperger, or whatever you want to call it. Don't need to apologize, Starlight. You haven't done anything wrong. I'm just bad at making wording myself. But you don't need to apologize. Was your mother's job while she could work? And once they had a massive flooding incident and needed help to dry out? And you went in to help and saw everything firsthand. I see. I do remember you talking about your mother working with low functioning autists. Oh. I'm still very not sure about what terms I need to use, so please bear with me. No time will be good. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm at too. It is unfortunately kind of complicated. God, this is so hard. Honestly, the wave dashing isn't even the hard part. I can do the wave dashing, it's the stupid wall jump that I can't. I'm not very consistent at the wave dashing, but I can do it. And probably as low functioning people have the agency stripped, and high functioning autistic people have their support taken away. I completely agree with that. This is kind of why I don't like high functioning and low functioning, because it gives you the image that low functioning people, autistic people, like they can't think for themselves or whatever. It reduces them a lot, and high functioning autists don't need help, which is why I personally prefer to say Asperger, because I do know a lot of people with Asperger that do need a lot of help. I have also gotten quite a bit of help. Make your own terms. The problem with that is no one will know what I'm talking about. The best way is to say you're autistic and then describe from there. Yeah, I think that's better, yeah. I usually also just say I'm autistic, because that's just... But again, the problem with autistic is there's a pretty wide gap, I feel like, between the people that do have like things like verbal issues and yeah, people with Raymond or low functioning, or however you want to describe it. There's quite a big difference between that and the kind of autism I have. Guess in your country, Asperger is treated as a non-essential issue. Yeah, and I kind of don't like that. I feel like it's important to and have so little understanding. Yeah, I think part of why I was in a good place is also the school I went to, like, I think we were like maybe 20% Asperger. Like, we had a very, very, very high amount of people with Asperger, so therefore it was treated as kind of important to like be able to help those. Some kind of still disregard part of the spectrum. Yeah, and I kind of hate that. This is because, yeah, people with Asperger do need help a lot of the case, which is completely fine, honestly. Even neurotypical people should get more mental help than they do. Autism is a massive spectrum, but it's better as starting place. Yeah. Autism is pretty... This is also why in my tags I write autism and not Asperger, because I feel like autism is more recognizable as a general term. And also because most people that want to like find autistic channels will probably search for the autism tag rather than Asperger tag. It's more commonly used. But that's a different matter. You're somewhat in between what may be considered Asperger and Raymond. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a spectrum. And no term will ever be able to describe it correctly, because no matter how you look at it, the symptoms show up so differently. So if you needed to describe the disorder accurately, you would need 1,000 different terms, which is just impractical. So yeah, you'll never find a very well describing term. Your cat's finally less mad at you after her being so mad because of the treatment you gave her. What kind of treatment did you give her? Like in medicine? I'm glad your cat's no longer mad at you, though. Chat. I'm suffering. I don't know what to do. Of course you're into that. You heard? Yes, some tropical worm cream. I see. She got so scared when you applied it. I can imagine. Poor cat. But it's important. Chat. Will I even beat this? Do I need to give up here? She was hiding from you for the last 2 days? Oof. I'm glad that she's finally forgiven you. I mean, it is hard, because like, you can't exactly explain to the cat why you're applying that cream. It's not like the cat will understand. Would be convenient though if you could explain to cats why we're doing things. You got past here a few days. Like a few times? Makes sense, makes sense. I can't manage, so and kept going back to it again because you wanted to master the wave dash. That's fair. I mean, the wave dash does seem good to master. I think I'm good at, like, decent enough at the wave dash, but it's just that the end of it I can't do. Reminds me of your cat avoiding all humans for days after getting his first few flea treatments, but now he accepted it and realized. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, cats are smarter than we give them credit for. And animals in general, to be honest. But it is also a scary thing when you can't really explain it. Like, imagine if your parents just gave you random medicine and if you refuse to elaborate on why. I would also be kind of scared. Obviously it's not quite applicable because like you can't really describe the relationship between parents and children the same way you do owner and pet. It's kind of Okay, my analogy is not very good, but you know what I'm trying to say. They just do random things for you. They have no idea what they're doing. I mean, they have no idea what you're doing either, Yuri. Chat, I'm suffering. Alright, I gotta beat this before break. If I haven't beaten this screen before break, I will be sad. That's your point? Fair. Oh, I understand what you're trying to say. Sorry, I got very confused there. I am very slow. Don't worry about it. Alright. I keep jumping into the pit like I'm on. Like, over and over again. Alright, we can do this. I believe. We can do this. Like, don't worry, chat delay. Fair. Chat delay is a pain. I wish we could have no delay, but I know that's not a thing. I think we have like 3 seconds normally. Or something like that. Alright. Come on. We can do this. We can't do this. This is not going well, chat. So, chat, while I am suffering a lot, is there anything you want to talk about? Like, did anything cool happen today? Because, while we enjoy some good old streamer suffering. Also, is anyone that has ever been... you just been reading more of the Odyssey? Oh right, yeah, you have your exam on Tuesday. I wish you luck on your exam. I'm sure you'll do well, Starlight. You've been vibing alongside Alex? That sounds like a lot of fun, Yui. Make sure to enjoy it. I've been throwing myself into a pit over and over. So that's fun. You still haven't gotten your flamingo suit in Hitman. Outrageous. What exactly do you need to do to get the flamingo suit? And will you even use the flamingo suit? So close. 45 featured player-made contracts. I know you want. Fair. Wait, so you can be... So you need to do contracts made by players? That doesn't seem that hard. You can just do the easier ones, right? But yeah, I get it here. It's an achievement. Even if you won't use it, you have to have it. Featured means IOI picked some specifics. IOI? Don't know what that is. But I see, that makes sense. So you have to do one of those. I guess the featured ones are on the harder side. IOI Interactive? The people that made Hitman? I did not know they were called that. Oh, is it 101? 101 Interactive. That sounds better. It's probably 101 Interactive. I don't know much about them, so... I only know about Hitman. And I believe Hitman is actually a Danish game, I wanna say. But I'm not sure. At least the original one. I know very little about it. I think it's 101 Interactive. This sounds way more legit than IOI. I hate how similar those like letters and numbers look. It confuses me so hard. Why would you do that? Make the I look like a 1? Correction. IO Interactive. Oh, so is it IO or is it 10? Oh, I see. It's IOI because it's IO Interactive. Makes sense. I think it must be IO then. IO Interactive. That sounds about right. And yeah, IOI is Danish. Hey, nice. It's very rare you hear about Danish games, to be fair, so I'll take pride in that. Even though I have nothing to do with it. But like, Denmark is a small country, so we don't do much of those kinds of things. Like, you very rarely hear about Denmark in general, to be honest, because we're such a small country, we're so few people. There's like less than 6 million Danish people. Finland has so many game companies, and Sweden. I think they have more people than us, I'm not sure. Sweden population. Yeah, way more people live in Sweden than Denmark. I'm not sure about Finland, no? Right, so Finland and Denmark are pretty comparable. France has always been proud of Ubisoft. That's fair. Never heard of a game made in South Africa. Okay, fair, you win. There's a bit more to it than population size, but still. I'm pretty sure we have a lot of game developers. I just don't think we have many studios. And there are 50 million of us? I see. That's a lot more than there are Danish people. There's only like between 5 and 6 million Danish people. Denmark is a very tiny country, admittedly. So whenever I hear of something in Denmark, I get kind of proud. You live in South Africa? Yeah, I got that. It's why you're watching this stream in the dark. Well, I mean, it's also dark here. Here it's almost midnight. So, well, not quite. It's 22:30. I just stream late. Oh, your power is out. Oh, oof. I just forgot to turn my lights on because I'm a moron. I hope your power gets back soon. Power outages is a meme. Kind of a pain. We have load shedding, which is rolling power outage. I don't know what load shedding means. I haven't heard that word before. We know exactly when it's off and when it's back on. Oh, I see. Makes sense. That's nice at least to have that knowledge. 6 to 10 hours a day of power off? That sounds like such a pain. Is it every day? Is it because there's not enough capacity for the entire population? They want to turn it off to help curb demand. Right, that makes sense. I mean, I don't know much about the South African energy grid, but yeah, that does sound annoying. Yeah, almost every day for the last year. Oh, I see. That sounds like a pain. Well, at least 50%. I see. Makes sense. Okay, chat. I would really like to beat this level soon. I've been here for a while now. It first happened over 10 years ago and it's just getting worse. I see. I guess the energy net is not good enough then. You'll need to upgrade it at some point, but I know that's not something you just casually do. Upgrading the energy grid is kinda hard. About an hour and a half, you've been here? Oh god, don't remind me. Is it that long? Jesus Christ, chat, I'm even worse than I thought. An hour and a half in this one little screen? That feels really, really bad. And it's not like I'm that bad at wave dashing. Money's not good so much, investment so much, it's been literally so bad. Yeah, I can imagine. You've been here basically since the start of Steam? Yeah, pretty much. Chat, do I just give up? I really don't want to give up. But like, I don't understand why I'm struggling so much. I really want to beat this though. I beat everything coming up to this point. Why can't I beat this? This is a tutorial segment. Like I'm still in this stupid tutorial and I can't beat it. Is this going well, chat? South Africa is one of the most financially incapable countries in the developed world. I see. Sounds like a pain. I hope it gets better in the future. I feel like I'm so close to doing it. I'm just struggling way too much. Alright, concentrate. No. Guten Morgen? Guten Morgen to you as well, Thinja. How are you doing today? I hope you're well. We are currently suffering a lot on this screen. We've been here for like over an hour. And this is like a tutorial screen, so this is gonna be a fun stream. You're doing good? That's good to hear. Are we greeting each other in our native language? Actually, I spoke German, so I replied to Thinja in the same language Thinja spoke to me. I can also reply in Danish. God morgen, Thinja. Bonjour. Unfortunately, I don't know how to say good morning in that many languages. It's commenting on Thinja, not you. Fair. I mean, I guess it's greeting people in our own languages is kind of cool. Howdy. the true way to greet people in American. Oh my god, that caught me so off guard. You know. Hey Archie, welcome to the stream. Hello to you as well. Who says hello nowadays? Sounds American, alright? I know, right? It feels very American. Literally nobody. Yeah, I haven't heard anyone say it. Like, hello feels like something your like 50-year-old aunt might say. Cultural appropriation, Yuri. That's cowboy culture you'll have, you know? Fair. Oh my god, Yuri. But yeah, certainly a lot of new people to the stream, so welcome to the stream, everyone. You're half Texan? Really? Did not know that. Benedias? Bonadias. I don't know what that means. Good day? I see. I mean, I could have guessed. I was just not sure if it was a good day or good morning. Context clue. I had figured it was a greeting, but I didn't know, like, I know what, like, the word, like, I know what Guten Morgen means, because that's the same, basically, as in Danish, but, like, meant bona, not bene. Bene is, well, in Latin. I see. Everyone is saying hello. I do get it's a greeting, Yuri. I just don't know, like, there's different types of greeting. There's a difference between saying good night, good morning, and good day. You're thinking of using a Swiss German, but you decide not to? Would be too random. Okay, I'm gonna, like, this is not meant offensively, but is there that big a difference between Swiss German and German? I thought it's on the level of, like, Swedish and Danish. Bona is good in the feminine term in Latin. I see. I don't speak Latin, so Sweden bad? I mean, that's fair. I won't disagree with you. So if it is the same, you can understand. I wouldn't be surprised if Germany had the same rivalry with Switzerland as we have for Sweden. I think for France it's Belgium. But I feel like most countries have one other country that they really hate. For Denmark it's Sweden. I believe America is like Canada. Depending on the greeting, yes, but mostly it's guessable if you know German. That's fair. Yeah, France is Belgium. That makes sense. Yeah, like a kind of an ironic hate. For the US is everyone? Really? I always thought it was Canada that they had that like kind of hatred rivalry with. We don't particularly hate anyone except, I guess, the British. I feel like a slightly difference. You're slightly more justified there. For us, we just don't like Swedish people. That's kind of it. There's no reason. It's just we don't like Sweden. For US, it's for EU because we have work-life balance. I mean, fair. But at the same time, not really. Yeah, it's kind of different. It's not everyone, I suppose. Might depend on where you live. Yeah. I guess for the US, it's actually more like states, like more state rivalries. So, but I guess not every country has that like rival country dynamic. But I feel like a lot of countries do. But honestly, a lot of the time, I feel like the US is a lot like the EU more than it is like an individual European country. Like each state almost feels like different countries, at least from my perspective. Was the reason you said farewell to farewell? Yeah, that's understandable. This level is suffering. You know, Texas hates Oklahoma and California and anywhere not named Texas. Fair. Kinda, maybe, sorta. Fair. Read an article today talking about summer Fridays in the US, where they get to leave early on Fridays. And I was like, what? Heard of vacation? Yeah, but like you don't really get paid vacation in the US. The amount of go eat fries you Belgium and you go grab some bread you have when French and Belgium are friends, I can imagine. I think my like favorite joke is convincing people that how you say hello in Swedish is jävla svenska. It was like an old joke on like scouts camps when there's like if there was an international scouts camp. We would often teach people that the way to say hello in Swedish is jävla svenska, which means devilish Swedes, I think. I remember like some Italians were living next to the Swedish people at the scouts camp, and we taught them that. The Swedish people were not very happy about it, but we had a good time. You see, if they don't call it vacation, it's palatable to the upper classes. That's fair. It's the biggest stunk on Swedes ever. I don't know why, but it's really funny to make people greet Swedish people like that. Honestly, I don't really know why we don't like Sweden. I've never understood, because Sweden is actually a pretty cool country, like objectively speaking. When I remove the joking bias, I do prefer Norway, but I never understood why we had this innate hatred of Swedish people. And it's like most Danish people I have met have that, and I never understood why. Go figure? Yeah. I guess it's just old rivalry. You wanted the same about Belgium for France? Makes sense. Denmark and Sweden are the two countries who has declared war the most times in history. Declared war against the other. Yeah, so it's like Sweden and Denmark has been allied for a lot of history, but we've also had a ton of wars against each other. So like, we have a lot of rivalry through history. And funnily enough, most of the wars that Denmark and Sweden has had has been about Norway. So it's like the British and French. Yeah. Britain and France has had a lot of wars. England and France were at war for long periods, but just one war. Long war. Makes sense. While Denmark and Sweden is a lot of small wars. What is worse, having one really long war against each other or many very small wars? Denmark and Sweden just kept declaring war. Honestly, it kind of feels like a couple bickering or something. What do we do today? Declare war on Sweden. Exactly. There were a lot more than just one war between England and France. Yeah, but like, I believe there's like 20-something wars between Denmark and Sweden through history. Like, there's a lot of wars. Like a divorced couple fighting for custody of Norway. Yeah, pretty much. Reminds me, by the way, like speaking of custody of Norway, I've told this story before, but like one of the most awkward conversations I've ever had was when I lived in England. I asked a Norwegian girl who had a flag in school, like she had a Norwegian flag, and I know it's not a thing in most countries, but in Scandinavia we use flags for celebrating, for example, for celebrating a birthday. It's like if you're waving a flag, it's often to celebrate a birthday. So I asked the Norwegian girl, "Oh, why do you have a flag? What are you celebrating?" And she awkwardly replied that she was celebrating the Norwegian Independence Day from Denmark. And that was a very awkward conversation. So yeah. For 30 wars between France and England. That is a lot of wars. I can't remember how many is between Sweden and Norway. Sweden and Denmark. I just remember hearing it's the most. But yeah, I will never forget when I accidentally commented on that to the Norwegian girl. It was so awkward. Like to the Americans, imagine a British person coming up and asking you on July the 4th and asking you, what are you celebrating today? That's just inherently gonna be hella awkward. The royalty is Danish, such as the life of Norwegian. Fair. Talking to people? Oh my god, Stan, yeah. I mean, talking to people is hard. For us poor artists. Mood. 35 Denmark and Sweden. That is a lot. Yeah, so we still have the record. But it sounds like you need to declare some wars in England. Yeah. If you want to catch up. Denmark is 64 wars total. And 35 of them with Sweden? What about the Norwegian and Sweden rivalry? I don't know. I don't know many Swedish or Norwegian people, so I don't know like if Norway and Sweden have a rivalry. I just know about the Danish-Swedish war. 50% of your wars are the same country. What the fuck? Yeah, we really don't like Sweden. Also, most wars in history is Spain with 300 plus. Interesting. In before Eert declares war on a country just for herself? That feels like a bad idea. Especially now that NATO is the thing. Imagine declaring war on all of NATO. As an individual. That's gonna end badly. Imagine Russia. I mean, they haven't done it yet. Well, I guess, is it a war if it's one person against a country? Isn't that just like a crime? I don't know, like... I don't think they would call you like a war enemy. I think they would just call you a criminal. Or something. You got food? I'm proud of you, Arya. That sounds good. Is it good food? War is just big crime. I mean, I guess... that makes sense. I hate this screenshot. I'm suffering so much. Government sponsored crime. Woo! Yummy chicken? Chicken is delicious. Does sound nice. Would you like a tip? What kind of tip? On how to make chicken? Religion sponsored crime. Break time? Oh right, break time. I'll just a sec here. Can't forget the Crusades, that's true. Just gameplay tips. Oh, I wouldn't mind a gameplay tip. Cause else we're gonna be here for a while. I have a feeling. I think I'm decent at wave dashing, but not very good. Give it after break. I mean, I just... break time. Alright, here. We'll take a break. Break time. Fine, I'll take a break, chat. Let's say 10 past. I forgot to make the... like, I was gonna make a better break time screen, but I forgot to make it. So, I need to remember to make the new break time screen soon. Slacker? I don't know what I'm talking about. I will never be slacking here. It's just a sec, chat. I'm just quickly gonna do this, because I want the emo explosion. Hey! Thank you so much for the gifted sub, Archie. That means a lot to me. Alright, so... I'll go get the break. See you on 15. Bye. Hello. I am back, I think. Welcome back to the stream, everyone. So, guess we are back to trying to beat this. I think. Well, I mean, maybe there was like a technical issue. That means the stream was down. So I couldn't know for sure if we really were back. Hello back, I'm Sinja. God damn it, Sinja. Are we pulling out the dad jokes now? I see how it is. So, we need to somehow beat this level, which is easier said than done. Area might have a tip, but I'm gonna keep trying for now. Now say that in German. Wow, Sinja. Wait, no, Yui, fuck. Your name isn't Sinja. I don't know why I keep confusing Yui and Sinja. You're very easy to confuse. What do you mean by yet? Are you planning to become Sinja? What does that mean, Yui? I'm scared. You're easy to confuse? I mean, true. Refused again? What do you mean by again? Is that a regular thing for you two? That you fuse and become one? Someone should probably tell Alex about that. No comments? If you're fusing with Sinja, your travel costs are going to go way up? Not necessarily, because if they fuse and become one person, they might be okay with only having one ticket. I don't know. I don't know, it like depends on how they fuse, you know? Now we meet in the middle. No, can't your travel costs? Why would your travel costs? Oh, right. Sinja lives in Germany. I'm a moron. Don't worry about it, yeah. I can't think. Thinking is overrated anyways. Who needs to think? In the middle of the ocean, we built a new island. I mean, that is significantly more expensive to travel there than where Yui lives now, I think. I don't actually know where Yui lives. I was incredibly close, by the way. One of my attempts there was like insanely close. Probably the closest attempt I had, but I fucked it up because I forgot to like grab the wall. But I had one where I jumped high enough, so Yui lives near an airport. Well, that's convenient. Living near an airport is pretty good for others to travel to. No taxes, but also no electricity. Who needs electricity? Well, I mean, presumably I do, considering I can't do my job without electricity, but that's not my minor detail. It's overrated, it's fine. Cam would be sad without electricity. I mean that too, but that's a different matter. Who needs electricity, says the streamer. I mean, yeah, I did realize that was a kind of a dumb statement. I had to hear you. I had to. You gotta understand. I didn't have a choice. No, this level is hard. Electricity is very important, indeed. I couldn't charge my computer without electricity. You can confirm? Yeah. Yeah. So like imagine like you're like current power outage, but permanent. So like you can never even charge your computer. That would be a pain. At least you have like batteries on your computer and phone and such to run on. Like how did people used to live without electricity? It sounds impossible to me. Because like, what was the tip by the way? I do not know. I don't think Aria's back yet, so we'll find out what the tip is later, or maybe. Back to the fusing thing. You have mix names multiple times. Oh, that was what you meant. Yeah, that's true. I have, but that's a minor detail. You can share a name, can't you? That would be easier for all of us if you just share the name. Then no one would get confused. Sinewy? I like that one. I'm sinewy. It sounds like Yui has committed a sin. It's a good pun though. Sounds like a ship name. It kind of does. Too close to a ship name. Yeah, I can kind of see that. Maybe shipping Sinewy with Yui is probably a bad idea. So let's not do that. Considering Yui is taken. Okay. New plan. When I say one of your names, just assume that I'm talking to the person that I'm talking to. Okay? But to be fair, you don't have a good ship name of Alex. Yui Sinya. Yeah, that's kind of, I guess, UX, but it's not really that good. Yalex? It's not great. Ulex? That'd be a way too lewd even for an I-18 stream if these two ship. Yeah, let's not do that. Ali? Ali is kind of cute. I would say either Ulex or Ali. Now you made a new name? Fair. Too close to your dead name? Okay. We're going with you. Alright. Ulex or UX? UX? UX. UXXX. That one works. Ship names are hard, chat. UX, let's go. User experience, yeah, that's why I got that from here. Suddenly YouTube became a user experience. Yeah, certainly an experience. That is for sure. I love it. It's so dumb. Chat, I feel like I'm in love with this pet. And I don't like it. Okay. But who is the user? I guess yourself. You're your own user. Chap it. Cap it. Oh my god, that's a great pun. I love that pun, Yuri. If we had a best pun category, I would nominate you for that one. You have a feeling that the farewell at the bottom of the screen is the last message before Pit's suicide. Oh my god, we don't? Not currently. You do remember the stream award categories be set? That's a ship name, not a pun? What do you mean it's a ship name? It's a pun on Stop It, isn't it? Oh wait, it is a still Pit, right, I'm a moron. I thought it was a pun on Stab It. Okay, I'm not gonna nominate that one then, because it's not a pun. I thought it was a pun. It's a ship name. I'm sad, chat. I like that pun. Now I can't use it anymore. But let's not make Camellia X Pit a thing. I would prefer that didn't become a thing, chat. It would be a bit too dumb. You do know the best way to prevent that isn't telling us not to do it? Shut up. I mean, it's more funny if I tell you not to do it, because then when the inevitable Camex Pit fan art becomes a thing, it's gonna be funnier. Let's make Camellia X Pit a thing. Oh my god. What have I done, chat? Brad Pitt? What the fuck, chat? Note to self, if you set a trap by electricity, set up the electricity first. Not once the water is all around while you're touching the electricity. Why are you setting up a trap by electric? What are you trying to trap? Yeah, what the hell are you doing? Yeah, this is why you're always getting hurt through on Hitman. Oh, right. I thought you meant in real life, and I was so confused why you electrocuted yourself. I thought it was my thing. Yeah, you're concerned. I am too. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a great idea to pour the water first. You killed yourself like a moron. I mean, I can't relate to that. You want Brad Pitt as a Photoshop while Cam is drawn? What the fuck? Don't worry, electrocute myself IRL enough at school? I mean, fair. I luckily haven't electrocuted myself that much. Well, I suppose that's not entirely true, but still. I tend to be more careful than you. I say as I jump into the pit once again. Shut up, Sinja. You don't know what you're talking about. You are able to wall bounce to the left to go farther away from an area, and to the right to get closer to the wall. This is in this scenario at least. So you're late? It's fine. That is actually useful advice. So what you're saying is, when I do the wall bounce off the wall, I need to hold left to go further, since I need to jump quite far. 2 minutes of school electricity was what you worked on. That's fair. Kind of same actually. I did a lot with electricity at school. Electricity, like elects. I feel like electricity works better because that's easy to pronounce. But yeah, thank you for the advice, Arya. I'll do my best. You're right. I am the master shipper, Yui. Don't worry about it, Yui. Alright, so we'll offer well static, the bitrate killer. Static? I don't know what kind of static. The background for the tutorial. Oh, that's static. Does that hurt bitrate? I did not know that. I'm not very good at computers, for the record. Why did you turn me into a hamster? Oh, Cam Master, right. It doesn't hurt it too bad, but it's just something that can be, I see. Yeah, that's a pain. Luckily, we should be out of the tutorial soon. TM. Close. But yeah, that's good advice. Thank you, Area. I'll do my best. Soon TM, exactly. Camster wheel. AKA an extreme. That's a detailed here. We don't have to speak about that. Did you do the C-sides already? I did not. I am planning to do C-sides after Farewell, or if I get too frustrated in Farewell. I've only done the B-sides. I'm not jumping high enough, I think. I think that's an indication and I need to jump further on the platform. Sometimes I get... It's really annoying when I like mess up the wave dash slightly and don't get my my dash back. I can't remember what's causing that. I think that's if I'm too low. Phone is dying, have fun, Cam. Alright, see you later, Yui. Have fun with your dead phone, I suppose. So, we always recommend doing C-sides before Farewell, for the wall bounce comprehension and for other areas still. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep, too low? Alright. I might go over to C-sides, to be honest. I'm not sure how I feel about it. What do you think, chat? Should we give up and go to C-sides, or have we tried for too long to give up now? I mean, I do think I have like probably near 1,000 deaths on this one screen, so maybe it would have been smarter to do C-side first, but the C-sides are better to start before Farewell, story-wise. Oh, well, I mean, I have already done half of C-sides, or half of Farewell, so that's what it is. Sunken cost fallacy. Yeah, but at the same time, maybe it is smarter. Not sure. But like at the same time, I would like to make some progress today. Hence why Granny decided to pull a Thanos. Pull a Thanos? She died at the beginning? Yeah, I remember that. But what has that to... Oh, right. I see what you're doing. I'm sorry, I'm confused. I was thinking of the snap, and I was like, she didn't snap anything. She just died. Basically, I'm a moron. I know it's better if I can change them, but it's just so much harder. Now I kind of want to go on. Another tip, wait a bit to jump once you start your wave dash. Wait a bit to jump. Does that make it easier? Oh! Oh yeah! That feels way easier. I think, maybe. I'm not sure. I think that's what's caused me not to... Yeah, I feel more consistent now. I'm not sure why I feel more consistent, but it's probably due to your tip, because that's the only thing I changed. And now I feel more consistent. That was really close. And don't worry, Cam, we'll join you with being a moron. I appreciate it, Senya. Like that. Yeah, I just need to somehow grab the wall after I do that. But that was really, really close. Do exactly that again. Yeah, the thing that I just did twice in a row and then I messed up. But if we do that again, and then we somehow like change mid-direction, change direction mid-air, I guess. Alright, okay, we're improving, chat. We're improving. Thank you, Aria. I appreciate it. May take a moment though. Because now I'm messing up. Of course, like right when I get super close and hype. Aria the Celeste MVP. Yeah. That is true. Come on. We can do this. That was a pit. This is not going well, chat. So suddenly after I was like, oh, I gotten so much more consistent, I keep messing up. I will say you should practice doing the chain wave dash here, since it's become a difficult thing if you don't practice it. Yeah, I figured. Oh, actually that's not that bad. With the advice of waiting a moment with the jump, that's actually not too bad. It's still bad, but not too bad. So let's try that. So ba-bam. Alright, so we just I think that the part about this level I hate the most is the fact that the like tutorial Madeline is in the background just mocking me by showing me just how easy this is. Like it's just mocking me. Over and over again for hours. Alright, alright. I messed up again, chat. I was so close. I hate being that close. Maybe it is smarter to choose Seaside. Would distract me way too much, to be honest. What? Final tip, you could jump pretty early during a wall bounce. You might be at the bottom corner of a wall and still get the bounce. Oh, so when you struggle to make them out? Make what out? The ghost showing you what to do. Oh, I see, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess I can understand. I guess I can understand with colorblindness. It would be hard to see the tutorial ghost here. I forgot I was talking about it in the first place, hence why I was so confused by Senya's message. The tutorial is immediately frustrating to deal with, even with the knowledge of how to do the level. Yeah, it does feel pretty frustrating. But I guess that is also partly just because I'm not very good and I haven't had much practice. There's buffering and coyote time and so many great things in this game. There is buffering and coyote time and so many great things. I don't know what coyote time is, so I basically small things that make the game more forgiving. Ah, I see. Less pixel perfect. That's nice. This trick still, like the wave dashing trick, still feels pretty precise, but maybe it's not as precise as I think it is. It just feels pretty precise. So one thing you'll say real quick, just jump up without moving forward for that first wave dash. It's fucking up a lot despite you doing it correctly for the most part. Good luck wave dashing. Thank you. Just jump up without moving forward. I'm not sure I understand. Yeah, I don't understand the final step, unfortunately. But I just need more practice. Guess it's just... So at the start, when you initially jump, you're moving forward, and that's causing you to fall off. Oh, but if I don't move forward, and then I don't think I get in far enough distance, you know? Like, it doesn't feel quite enough. I guess it isn't. I'm just slightly too low though. Maybe I can do something like that. It's like move forward a bit first and get a consistent place to start. It feels like it's I don't know. Oh, that was pretty good. Alright. That was pretty good, but I forgot to do the end part correctly again.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, the end part of like swapping directions mid-air, I'm struggling a lot with. Maybe because my brain is thinking, oh, I'm already dead, so why try anything, you know? I already, like, it's just my brain assumes that it failed, or something like that. It would be really stupid if that's it, but I think it might be what's happening. So like overcompensating for a mistake I didn't make. Alright. We are getting more consistent though. Like a lot more consistent somehow, which is good. The more consistent I'm getting, the more likely we are to win. Large parts due to areas tips. No, I messed up again. I don't understand our last bit. I think that's the real problem. I don't know what to do after the wall jump. I guess maybe I just need to hold the grab button and hope. Can I actually hold the grab button while doing the wall bounce? Not sure. I would have assumed that would break the wall bounce, but maybe it doesn't. In which case that would make it easier. Coyote time is essentially the amount of frames after you walk off of a platform. A block, you're still on the block despite clearly being off it. Thinking similarly to dashing to the right of a platform, where you're holding the same horizontal position as before. That makes sense. Good night, Cinia. Sleep well. Have sweet dreams. I can't do that last bit. I think that's what I'm... The grabbing the wall, I think, is what I'm struggling on. Somehow. Of all things, that is my problem. Because I've done the wall bounce correctly like a bunch of times now, and I keep not grabbing the wall. After the initial wall bounce and holding to the left, you can pretty quickly hold to the right to grab the wall if I recall correctly. I mean, maybe I'm just not getting the timing correctly. I'll try. I'll do my best, yeah. Just you wait. I need to get the wall bounce again to be able to attempt. I forgot to switch. I've gotten the wall bounce so many times, chat. I don't understand. Why is it always the easy parts that I struggle the most on? I do not know. Maybe I'm just that bad. We'll see though. I'll try. So, bounce, bounce, no. Alright. Calm down, calm down. You will say the wall bounce is one of the hardest mechanics in the game. Yeah, I'm pretty bad at wall bouncing. I think that's why Area said that Area recommended doing Seaside first, but unfortunately I already started on Farewell and sunk cost fallacy and such. The tutorial always upset you since it's always in the way and doesn't contrast well with versus Madeline. Hard to see which is Madeline and which is tutorial in. Yeah, I can see that. I don't really like it. At least it's easier to see when you have Cadius, because the shape is way different from. I'm very happy that the mod didn't give tutorial in Cadius, because if a tutorial in also had Cadius, then I would probably be very confused. I'm getting pretty good at the chain wave dash. Wall bounce is far from the hardest tech in the game. It is the hardest taught in the game, you'll agree, but there are others in the game techs that aren't taught, which is very difficult. Yeah, that's fair. But like, wall bounce is like directly required, I think is what Essen was trying to say. No, I mean that specific wall bounce. Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, this wall bounce is very hard. Okay, chat. We've come so far. Super dash. This one is a bit unforgiving. Yeah. You would think you would make it easier for like a tutorial segment, but I guess not. I mean, I guess, what's really the point if you're not suffering, you know? They assume you did Seasides after all, which has a bunch of wall bounces. Okay, chat. I should probably give up and go to Seaside. But it's just like I spent like over 2 hours in this now. I don't want to give up when I spend 2 hours on the same screen. But then again, yeah, super dash, then wave dashes, then hyper dashes. You should have gone Seaside on first mention. Yeah. Alright, chat. This is enough. I'm barely missing any progress. So let's go do Seaside instead. I'll edit the stream title. I'm overthinking this. So edit stream title. Thank you for the advice, by the way. It does mean a lot. Where can I find my mouse? Whoops. Alright. Let's go, chat. To the seasides. I'm kind of excited about seasides. Wave Dash is harder than Hyper Dash because Hyper Dash are literally just glorified Super Dash. Fair. Okay. So we do that, I guess. But yeah, thank you for the advice, Aria. It should probably be a better idea to start with Seaside, like you suggested. I'll do my best, and then hopefully, with the help of your tips and the practice from Seaside, we'll do better. I think. Oh god. I remember hearing that seasides are very hard but very short. Hyper super, but you also hold plus the direction you want to go. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm struggling a lot with the terminology of all the super dash, hyper dash, wave dash, etc. I know what a wave dash is, but I don't know all the others. Damn it. So yeah, I think from what I understand, seasides are like short but hard. The first screen doesn't seem too bad, but it does go pretty hard. Hybers are taught in 8C. Ah, I see. Makes sense. Thank you. I'm a bit confused, like, if you're meant to have done C-sides before Farewell, why do they log it behind B-sides and not behind C-sides? Wouldn't it have been smarter to log it behind B-sides? Because technically you don't need to know how to do anything past 7p to do Farewell, since 7p teaches you wallbats. I guess that makes sense. But yeah, thank you for the advice to do seasides, because also would be suffering for the next like 3 streams for no reason, which would be kind of a bad idea, so we'll do our best in seaside and see what happens. The seasides you say about the same, are more difficult as Farewell chapter. Remember the one with nice violin music? Farewell Oh, that one! Yeah, I remember that one. I have done that one, so if I can do that one, I can probably also do the seasides, I would imagine. This here doesn't actually seem so bad, so... I just wish I had like realized slightly earlier and just given up on my what's it called? Sunk cost fallacy, that's the thing. Sunk cost fallacy is a pain. But hey. This is a really cool level, by the way. I like this way more. So we do... Whoops, that one... Casually sliding down to the spike. I mean, you never know, maybe the spike was lonely and then Spike just wanted a friend. I was just being nice. It's fine. Hey, I did it! Woo! First screen done, chat. Let's go. The other reason you'll say to do C-side before farewell is because when they get to 8C, after clearing farewell, and I introduced the wave dashes, they was like, what the fuck? This is literally just a wave dash, and it irritates me so much for no reason. Yeah, that's fair. Hyper dashes, right. Sorry, mistype. I get it. Alright, so it seems to be 2 ways? That's confusing. Or maybe you can't go up there. Whoops. I just walked into the pit. Ow. Alright, so there, whoops. Alright, we can't go up here. I'm just a moron. So. So. Bam. Damn it. This screen is kind of fun though. So we do that, grab the ice block, grab the other ice block. Haha! Never mind. Okay, got this. Yes! We did it, chat! That one was pretty hard, but it's not too bad. Alright, what is this one? So, we have to somehow get up on the other side of that? Okay, this one seems confusing. Or there's ding dongs too. Okay, this screen seems like something else. Wait, how long was it? I didn't actually see the end. So it's goes. Okay, this is final screen. I see what you mean by them being short. They're very short. This is the final screen already. This is like the 3rd screen, I think. So yeah, we can probably wrap up like at least 1, probably even 2 C-sides today, if they're all this short. Just a sec, let me just grab something to drink and calm down a bit. But yeah, I think we should be fine doing this. Let's go, chat. So, grab that, grab the spikes. Get me every time. I am bad at this, chat. Ba-da-ba-da-bam. Alright, we need to get a bit more height in that jump, and I'm screwed. Oh, wait. Oh, maybe what I need to do is actually dash from there. Oh, I'm such a moron, chat. I was doing that completely wrong. I see what I need to do now. So the start of it is still correct, but how is executing the second part is wrong. Okay. We need to... No, that doesn't work. We need to think about it. That... So we do... How do we do that? Because we need to somehow get over the spike wall, which is pretty tight. Alright. Short but hard. That I feel like it's a good assessment. That's kind of fun, actually. I kind of like the shorter levels. It makes it feel more satisfying to beat every screen. But maybe this screen is really long, isn't it? Yeah, that's like this part. And then, yeah, the screen is really long. The screen could probably have been split in two, and it would have been better. But we'll do our best. See what happens. Alright, so, but I don't get that part though. Maybe I need to... maybe I do need to bounce off of the block at the bottom. But like not grab onto it, just like get a quick wall jump. So I do need to like somehow catch up. Yeah, that makes sense. I think I know what to do, chat. We'll see how it goes. But it's certainly worth a shot. We never know. Okay, so... Calm down, chat. It's gonna be fine. I'm really excited, by the way, chat. Like I mentioned how next week I am going to Berlin. And I gotta admit, I am starting to get really excited to go. I'm slightly like sad that I can't stream, obviously, because like I do enjoy streaming a lot, but like it's been a while since I went on a trip, and this is the first time I'm going on a trip with my stepmom, which I'm kind of excited about. Taking a break is useful. Yeah, it'll make me feel more happy to come back to streaming after a week of not streaming. And again, like it's my first my first trip with my stepmom, which I feel like is kind of exciting actually. Just like if you're gonna be family, we probably should get closer, you know? But yeah, I am slightly like, I do worry a bit about taking a vacation and leaving you guys, but I do agree, breaks are important, vacations are important, and like, as a streamer, I feel like a lot of streamers don't take enough breaks, is what I experience, like, so I shouldn't be one of those streamers that never take a break. So I'm kind of looking forward to my vacation. And like the way I'm viewing it is I'm using like breaks are good? Yeah, they are. And I'm viewing it a bit as kind of like a reset for my mind. In a lot of ways. The less breaks you take, the harder the burnout will hit you. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's definitely a good idea to take more breaks. To like limit burnout, because like as soon as you actually get burnout, then it can take a long time to recover. So preventing burnout as much as possible is a good idea. But yeah, I'm also like, because I'm like struggling a lot with change, I'm viewing this as an opportunity to change a lot of things in my life. Most notably is like things like my productivity rhythms and such. I'm using this like physical move as a way of changing my habits and like trying to like set some good habits like as soon as I'm back from the trip, which I feel like those kinds of opportunities are really good for that, because I'm the kind of person who struggles a lot with changing. So having a physical move will make it easier for my brain to set up. So I'm really excited to get it home as well, and like implementing all of the things that I've been thinking about, changing about my life and my productivity rhythms. I guess habits more than rhythms, I don't know. So yeah, it'll be good, and I'll make sure to like post updates on Twitter, I think, if I remember. I have a pretty infamously bad memory, but I'll try to remember. To post updates, or like post things about my trip. For anyone that cares. I have no idea what I'm actually going to see, because I don't know that much about Berlin. I've been to Berlin like once before, I think, like years ago, but I don't know much about it. And my dad keeps telling me to like look up things I want to see in Berlin, but I'm like, I don't know, there's not really anything particular I want to see. I just want to spend time with my family, and I do want to see some interesting things, but nothing in particular, you know? And it's really hard being asked the question of, is there anything you want to see? And like, I just don't have a good answer. Because like, what specifically you see is not really what's important to me. It's more an opportunity to spend some time, you know? I have no idea if that anyone can relate to that, but yeah. Definitely a question I struggle a lot with. Whoops, that was the wrong direction for that dash. The one thing I'm not looking forward to though, Berlin is further south, and like, it's already so hot here. I'm not looking forward to it being even more hot. Oh, I should have held on to the wall. I'm a moron. Whoops. It'll probably have similar temperatures to you. Yeah, but like... Maybe. I guess it's not that far south, but it is further south, so I would have expected it to be slightly hotter. Which I'm kind of scared about, but I guess... It is still in the same, like, climate. So yeah, you're probably right here. I probably shouldn't worry too much about that. And like, I'm gonna be outside a lot of the time, so like, it'll probably be better. As long as I don't wear too heavy clothes. Paris sounds like it has similar temperatures to you, so yeah, makes sense. And I think Paris and Berlin are like, roughly equivalent. On like the, I think it's called a latitude. So I think we should be fine. You're probably right here. I'm just glad we're not going in summer. Going in spring should be slightly more. Because like in summer, I usually spend most of my time being melted in a sofa and not doing anything. So like spring is slightly nicer time of year to travel, I feel like. I guess we are actually pretty close to summer. But still. Does anyone know of anything cool in Berlin? Or to guess not. Maybe I should have asked Sinja, but who's actually German, but I guess I'll find something. I keep doing that. Alright. Come on, grab the thing. Alright, grab the other thing. That was wrong. Step. Whoops. I'm a moron. That was probably one of the dumber deaths. Well, not really. I guess the amount of deaths I've had from just walking off of the edge, I don't think I can describe that as like just slightly mistiming my slide as a really dumb death. I think it's hard to be just casually walking off of a platform for no reason. I think that's gonna take the cake. Damn it. Ba-da-ba. That sounds like a good idea, yeah? What does? I'm saying a lot of things and have a bad memory, so I'm not sure like which specific thing you're referring to. The not walking off a platform thing? Yeah. Walking off of platforms for no reason is kind of not a great idea, I feel like. Like, it's not my smartest move, at least. I've had smarter. Damn it. Rarely? Rude. I'm not that stupid here. Don't say anything, chat. It's fine, chat. Oh god, I messed up. Can still salvage this? Aha! Damn it. I was close to salvaging it. You held the rudeness in. Don't worry, I know I'm an idiot. I advertised myself as a self-proclaimed idiot, so it's fine. It's part of my brand. Like, if I suddenly got smart, then my brand would fail. It's good branding, if anything. Exactly. That's totally the point. I'm just being an idiot on purpose for branding. Definitely. Damn it. Just like, I'm just throwing for content. Definitely. No. Need to get better at that, like, later half. I forgot to dash chat. Yay. I'm very smart. Alright, okay. Let's do this. No. Yeah, I do have to be on the upper part, else it's not good enough, so... While I do need to save on climbing juice, because I don't have enough, and I need to go pretty fast. I can't go too fast, because if I go too fast, I don't jump high enough. So yeah, need to strike a balance. That was not a good balance. I panicked and I withhold a bit. And I've just gone all in the jump instead of panicking and holding back, then I think I would have been fine. So, no holding back. Once I jump, I jump. Let's go, chat. We can do this. We just need to calm down and focus. It would be really satisfying to at the very minimum beat chapter 1 seaside today, just to have like some significant progress. That would feel very good. I'll be very happy. I believe, chat. I think we can do it. We have time to finish the level. I walked off the edge. I may be a moron. Don't worry about it, chat, it's fine. Yeah, you're getting there? Yeah. Yeah, soon. I think that's still like quite a bit after the spot where I've made it to, but not too much. Alright, Spike. Part of me is tempted to uninstall Starrail. Why so, Starlight? Do you not like the game? You just can't get into another gacha? Ah, yeah, I get that. And well, the game is always there to come back one day. But yeah, I can completely understand not wanting to get into another gacha. Personally, I like to play both Genshin and Honkai. But yeah, it is a bit much. Heroes are too good at gacha. Yeah, they're so tempting to play. But they're also very big time sinks, so I can understand if 2 of them are too much, but they're so well designed too. It's almost like unfair that they can casually throw out two such good games. It's a great game and you're so invested in the story, but you don't have time for the game. Yeah, I can understand that. It's hard to balance multiple live service games. Damn it! So close, chat. So close. I just had to let go at the proper timing and then we were there. Obviously that's easier said than done because I don't know what the proper timing is. Like, you just, the characters you don't want to feel the need to pull for more characters. Yeah, that's understandable. The characters are so well designed. Horrorverse is way too good at making good character design. And grind for artifacts in a whole nother game. Yeah, it's a big time sink. I can completely understand if you don't have time for it. Even if it's a good game. But yeah, Horrorverse is way too good at making gacha games. You can come back another time. That is true, that is the good point of these types of games. If you take a break and then come back later, there's just that much more content to enjoy. Rather than a content drought, where you're just doing dailies. So that can also be an advantage. Damn it. Alright, we can do this, chat. I believe. Maybe when it has a more developed meta. See how parkour is? Does meta even matter in this game? There's no competitive aspects. There's no PvP, as far as I understand. I don't see how, like, I kind of feel the same with Genshin. Meta doesn't really matter. As long as your team is good enough to, and most teams are good enough. People follow meta in Genshin. I mean, sure. I guess there are better units than others. There are, but like, still, you don't really need the good units. Because, like, it's a single-player game. Effectively. Like Genshin. Like, technically there is some, like, integration with other people, but, like, it's not too important. But you find it overwhelmed. Like, you get overwhelmed by it. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I can see that. Yeah, I suppose it makes sense. I can understand, even if that you don't need to follow the meta, I can understand caring about it. Like, feeling like you ought to follow the meta and, like, stressing about it. I can also sometimes get like that. I'm trying to, like, fight that impulse and just, like, go with whatever. But I can also sometimes struggle a bit with it. So I can completely understand it. Alright, chat, I'm so close. I can't ruin this now. I've ruined the chat. In such a stupid way, too. I pushed slightly right and I walked into a spike. How did that jump work? I hold the right button and went into the spike. Whoops. What a way to fail the level. right after I say I cannot fail now, I'm finally here right at the end. And then I immediately fail in the stupidest way I can think of. It feels very on brand for me, at least. That is a very Camellia thing to do. It died the same way as well. Okay, good. It's not just me. I'm glad. Alright, okay. Damn it. I'm slightly salty because I finally made it and it's kind of hard. But we can make it again. If we could make it once, we can make it again. So we should be fine. Alright. There, but damn it! Got stuck on the wall. And that's a spike. At least the music is good. I might die a lot, but I can enjoy the good music while I do so, which is nice. No, if I just dashed there, I would have been fine. Right, calm down. We'll be fine. Nothing bad can happen here. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Well, never mind. Alright. Concentrate time. We're gonna do this. It's not as hard as it seems if I just concentrate. Probably. Maybe. I just realized there's actually a wall I can grab onto in this area. So like, if I fail to jump, I can still save it. Which is good to know. Like positions where I can save it even if I fail. Or I can also just jump on a spike. That works too. Feels very me. Okay. Ah, so close, so close. Slightly missed the hole there. Getting the in... I think I got lucky to get into the hole the first time, because it seems like a very precise hole to get into. So I think I got really, really lucky to get it the first time, and I'm not sure I'm gonna get lucky anytime soon again. Oh, I kind of made it easier there. Oh, actually, I think I may have an idea. Let me just try and get back. Damn it. Whoops. I waited too long. Alright, so. The plan is we do everything in the start here. And then for the final bit, I think with jump and I get in the air, I think it might be easier to get it with air control than to drop in at the correct timing. Maybe. Because I didn't do that last time. I didn't jump. I tried to fall into the hole, which doesn't really work. But I think if I jump, I have more control. The fact that you did it without stamina is something else. Yeah, I think I got really lucky that I just ran out of stamina at the exact correct time. I didn't actually let go of the climbing button. I just fell in the hole because I ran out of stamina at the exact correct time. Which I don't think I can rely on. Maybe I do actually need to rely on it, because I seem to keep running out of stamina. So, otherwise, I think my my jump strat could work, but I need to wait more with the jump. There I panic because I don't have any stamina, but that is what it is. No, I keep getting stuck on a wall. It's really annoying. I think it's because I'm holding the right button. That kind of like sticks me a bit to the wall, even if I'm not holding the climbing button, making me slide. So if we like don't hit the spike, right, we can do this, chat. Just calm down and focus. Whew. That's a pit. Alright, let's go. Damn it. That's a spike. Should have waited slightly more there, or like get a bit more of a boost. Oh. I moved too fast for the jump, I think. Because there are jumps, but because I had too much momentum, even with the jump, I still hit the spike, which is not good. Alright, let's see if we can get back there, and then we'll try a few things. It's kind of annoying that that little like hard section is like right at the end, so it makes it harder to experiment, because I get there so rarely, and like whenever I get there, it takes so long to get there. That is, and I want to experiment with a bunch of different strategies for how to do it, but I can't because I need to get there first. It's really annoying. I guess it could be worse. The hardest section could be at the end. Well, actually, it might actually be the hardest thing to like just get in the pit, like get in the hole correctly, but maybe not. I'm not sure. It's a bit hard to judge which part of a screen is hardest, because you spend so much more time on the first sections. I guess you could look at like how many times you died somewhere, but I don't remember, and it's also not entirely accurate. Damn it. No, that was so good up to that point. I got a really good jump, and then I failed the other jump. That's really sad. But we can still do this. We have time until the end of the stream. Alright, that's good. No! I was so close. I just maneuvered slightly wrongly in the air. No! I'm sad now. Okay, we can do this. If I'm that close, then I can be that close again. And just do the exact same thing, except I do the end bit correctly. Basically. That's bad. Can I save this? No, I cannot. I cannot save that. I kind of like, by the way, chat, like the aesthetic of chapter 1 with all of the broken buildings and signs and such. I don't know why, but like ruins of modern-ish architecture is so cool. I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks that, but like, especially with the signs and such, like modern ruins with signs and everything, they look so cool. Not sure if I like modern ruins of modern buildings or ruins of more ancient buildings more. It's kind of hard to evaluate, I feel like. I guess it also depends on culture, but like, if you compare to like the ruins of like ancient Greek cities, I feel like I kind of like the modern architecture better for ruins. I know architecture isn't designed to be ruins, but still. Like ruined modern architecture. It's just such a cool vibe. I don't know if I'm the only one to think that, but yeah, I really like the aesthetic. That's bad. I might be the only one that likes that aesthetic, but I feel like it's a pretty popular aesthetic. I've seen it a lot in like movies and such with the... Well, I guess that's not so much for the appeal of the aesthetic and more of the appeal of modern civilization falling, kind of. So like when you see this kind of architecture of modern ruins in games and movies, it's not so much about the architecture itself, which is a bit sad. It's a really nice aesthetic. It's more about the concept of civilization falling to ruin. Not so much in this game, but still. Because like this one isn't really an apocalypse thing, it's just, so it's a bit more just for the aesthetic vibe, I suppose, if that makes sense. Whew. Never mind. I really need to, like, when I jump off of that moving platform thingy, I really need to wait for right until I get to the end of it. It really just doesn't work at all. And I keep trying to jump early, which completely messes everything up, for obvious reasons. Like, that is way better. Returned? Welcome back, Aria. How are you doing? We got really close to beating this. So we'll be beating it any moment now, I think, maybe. Damn it. Had to socialize? Oof. Hell. Who likes socializing, you know? Bleh, indeed. You want to tell? Sure, I guess. But I think I do know, like, how to do everything. It's just mostly a question of execution, I think. Whoops. But, sure. The right side of the block is always your friend? What do you mean the right side of a block is always your friend? That's for me to know and you to find out. I mean, fair. I don't know like which section you're referring to, because the only like block where I'm not using the right side of it is a deliberate choice. It's pretty much only there, and it's only because I found it pretty consistent to do without jumping on the right side, and I was struggling a lot when I was trying to jump on the right side of the key block thingy. Don't know what to call things. Damn it. Alright, we can do this. Just concentrate. Damn it, that's the wrong direction. Why does my brain keep wanting to dash diagonally when I'm not meant to dash diagonally? I hate when my brain does that, decide to dash the wrong way for no reason. Huh. There, much better. Oh, do you mean that part? I guess we don't use the right side on that one, but I have no idea how you would even get to the right side of that block, so... Okay, we're back here, chat. Alright. I'm ready. I did it, chat! Woo! You was referring to the kind block there, but you got it? Yeah! Yeah, I did try to do the right jump on the right side on it, but it made me struggle more, so I ended up not doing it. But hey, doesn't matter, I got the golden heart. I'm happy. Seaside complete. Woo! Only took 357 deaths. It's nothing, chat. It's nothing. I guess we can... I think it's better to keep, because we don't have enough time to... I guess this one's closest to purple. So, chat. I think we'll... like, we don't have enough time to finish the seaside of chapter 2, and like it is more fun if you get to finish, so I think we'll have to keep that one for next time. Unfortunately, I'll have to leave you all waiting, but it should be fine. So chat, it's been fun to play with you. I think I'll end stream slightly early now. Because this feels like a natural part, and I should be back playing to play some more with you tomorrow. I hope. I'll quickly look for someone to raid though. But yeah, that was a fun stream. Seasides is really fun. So now comes the hard question. Who should we raid and send everyone over to? Difficult, difficult. Could do that, I suppose. That could be fun. But yeah, I had a lot of fun today, actually. It's a really nice stream. Alright, I'm gonna rate this person who is currently playing Strawberry Jam. But yeah. Thank you all for the stream, and I'll see you all tomorrow, I hope. Tomorrow will be the last stream before my vacation, but I should be back Tuesday the 25th, I think it is. 23rd. Tuesday the 23rd, I'll be back, but I'll have one more stream tomorrow, so I'll start the raid. But yeah. Thank you all for the stream, and good night. I'll see you all next time. Bye. Whoops. That button. I'm so good at this chat. Good night. Starting the raid.